Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to my shop. In this video I'm going to show you how I reorganized my drill and driver station and the charging station so everything's kind of in one place. I'll show you how I do this. So here is where I've been keeping my drill, screwdriver, and also an impact driver. I don't have a whole lot of drills and drivers and stuff like that. Basically just these three here. Well, other than this flip out drive from Lowe's, which is kind of slick. I like it. Can use it in a lot of different angles. Over to the other side of my garage here is where I've got my drill chargers and stuff. I've got these set up over here for charging, and I've got this timer thing, which is an idea I got out from some other resource somewhere online, where it goes from 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, and dusk till dawn. And what I do is I plug an outlet strip into that. Then this outlet strip is back behind here, and all of these chargers plug into that. So when I want to start a cycle on something, I turn this to off, and then back to the 2 hours, and I've got a piece of tape over the light sensor so it knows it's dark, and it'll go on within a few minutes. Then it will charge for 2 hours and shut off, so that way the batteries won't be overcharged, I won't be wasting electricity, and also it won't cause a back charge from these being plugged in. I want to build a rack in here to hang my drills on by my charging station. I got this idea from somewhere online of taking a piece of PVC pipe and putting a drill into it to hang this up there, and the drill can hang in it. Cut out here so this can slide in all the way, and I'll do 3 of these. We got this one, the impact driver, that's electric screwdriver. To hang this in here, I'm going to cut these to shorter lengths. What I want to do is suspend it to the center one here. And this one here is recessed up, so I need to find out what that difference is. I'll stick a board up there, hold it to that, measure to this one here, and I find the distance between the top of this board and the bottom of that to be 1 1/4 inches. How do I get a 1 1/4 inches out of stock wood? Well, I'll take a 3/4 inch board like this one here and a 1/2 inch board, and I sandwich those together. That'll give me 1 1/4 inches, so then I can be even there and then hang those PVC pipes on there for hanging the drills in. To make the boards that I need for the spacers underneath that shelf so I can hang those PVC tubes on there, I need to cut pieces that are 10.5 inches long and then 2 inches wide. So these 2 pieces, when I sandwich them together, will give me my 1 1/4 inch thickness, because I got a 3/4 and a 1/2 inch. Okay, I'll glue these up together. I glue these 2 pieces together to make up my spacer that I'm going to put on here. Those together. Oftentimes I'll kind of hold these for about 15 seconds, give them a little bit of time to start sticking, then I start putting the clamps on. Okay, give those some time to set up and dry. Then I'll come back and clean up the squeezed out glue and then trim up the edges so they're all good and even. Took this 3-inch PVC pipe and cut it on my miter saw here, which clears it, perfectly, and gives me a full cut all the way down. So it barely cuts this 3-inch, probably a little bit more than that, but 4 inches I'm going to cut on this miter saw. And this is a 10-inch miter saw blade. As you can tell by all the white stuff here, it does make a lot of mess. So I cut up a bunch of these to the different lengths I'm going to need for the different drills that I'm going to suspend into these, and I will attach them to that board, see how we can line everything up. I laid out my tubes here. They're 3.5 inch outer diameters, so that makes for 10.5 inch lengths between those. So that's what I'd cut this out to be, and the 2-inch width to fit into that cavity space that I need to fill on the underside of this shelf that I'm going to hang all this under. And I cut each of these to a length for each of the drill and drivers that I'm going to hang in here, the 3 of them that I'm going to do. got the flip out one yet, but I may add that in there yet somehow, somewhere along the line. But for these, this is what I'm doing. I also considered cutting out a partial portion of this for allowing the handle to slip into the tube of the drivers and the drills. However, that's quite a challenge to do, whereas I think if I put it on my table saw, just cut strips right through there because of the thickness of the walls of these, I think they'll still have the strength to easily hold the drills and drivers in there. No problem. To mount the tubes to the underside, I'm going to use these number 10 by 1.5" flathead screws, because that way it'll sit flush with the wood. I'm going to use these because this is 1.25" thick, so 1.5" to attach this to the underside of the shelf there, filling that cavity. Then I'm going to use these number 10 3/4" screws, flathead, for attaching the PVC pipes to the underside of this. And I laid this out in such a manner as to locate these holes. I've got 6 holes I'm going to do to attach to the underside of the shelf, and I offset these so that the centers of the tubes will not be interfering with the screws. I found that if I set my fence here at 1 inch, these marks line up here for the width that I want to cut for my particular driver. But I also had drawn a vertical line along here just as a visual reference as I'm pushing this along through the blade to try and keep myself straight. Looks like a good cut. I will do the other two in the same manner. In measuring the depths and distances that I want these to hang under my shelf there, I figured out I want these to be 3 inches out from where this is going to attach under the shelf. So I measured these marks at 3 inches. Then this will go on. I will make marks on the other sides here to give me the depth of what this board is, and I'm going to put 2 screws on each one of these to give it better stability as far as not rocking around on me. Then I'll mark out my screw locations on that, measure in from the inside of the tube, and then I'm going to drill holes in those concave or convex recesses for the screw, flathead screws, to be able to sit flushly inside there. So as you can see in here, I marked in 3 inches one end, another 2 inches for the width of that board is at 5 inches. And I marked in, maybe about 3/8 to a ½ inch or so from each of those marks. And these cross points here is where I will drill for my screws. Marked out and use my scribe point to mark my holes where I want to drill. Drilling at a 1/4 inch for these number 10s. The 1/4 inch is a little bit bigger than the number 10 screw that I'm using, but that'll give me some flexibility since I'm doing so many screws, be able to get a good alignment. Got those done. Next I'll drill the concave shapes for the flathead screw shapes. For these, I want to drill these shapes to just barely make the head of the screw sit flatly in there. That's good right there. Now I'll do the rest of them. Okay, all set to screw this in. What I'm going to do is line up my marks, scribe the marks on the underside of my shelf, then drill those holes to be an appropriate size for these screw threads, and then I'll test fit it. Then what I may do is to put some epoxy glue on the bottom side of this to give it more strength for holding on the underside of that plastic shelf. Okay, so I have some excess plastic here hanging off from the molding when they cast the molding on this. What I'm going to do is trim that flush with a chisel. So there'll be no interference with my board sitting flat on here. Then what I did was I checked my position I want here by holding this up here and whereabouts my tube is going to sit based on being on center here and being far enough away from other things that I've got here that I've got good position here. Then what I can do is I take my scribe, put it up through the hole here, and kind of push it in there and poke through it a little bit. And I've done that for a couple of them here. Hold that in position, get the other one started, and just kind of push in a little bit till it makes a little bit of a hole. Then I'll drill these out a little bit for the appropriate size for the screws that I'm going to be putting in here. Okay, I have all these screws fitted in here. So my next step will be to take this back off, apply some epoxy glue on the back side, screw it back on, and while that's curing and setting up, I will go to the drill press and drill the holes in the bottoms of the tubes for attaching to here. For drilling the holes for the inside of this pipe here, lining up my marks there and getting it onto the point there of my crosshairs, and also trying to make sure that my drill bit is located kind of center in all of this. This is not exact science, so then I'll drill this through. This drill bit that I'm using is a 15/64, and that's just enough for the screw to fit through without, you know, being tight in the hole. I guess I didn't have my camera running for everything, but basically I got the all these screwed up into place into that board up there. Now I can store my drills and drivers up here. It'll hang, and here I've got my battery charging station. Well, to wrap this up, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got the inspiration to make something of your own. Please give me a like and share with your family and friends, and please subscribe to see what I may come up with next. Thank you.